Of course, I don't think anybody's in the chat at the moment, but welcome to the channel. My name is Jeff Beyond Wolf, and today we're going to talk some pop culture with my boys, Brandon Moist and the super fan, Adam Shawhan. Mr. Moist, introduce yourself, please.
Hello, everybody. I have been on a bit of a hiatus, but I am the Moist from Moist Visions, Inc. Many of you that may tune in might know me as the Moist from World Class Bullshitters comment section. About a year ago, I lit up the comment section with moisture. And from then on, the legend of the Moist amongst the World Class Bullshitters community and the Fandom Menace was born, as I have terrorized the Geeks and Gamers chat and Comic Artist Pro Secrets chat with moisture. Been a little slacking over the summer. I've had a lot of stuff going on, but leading into a new a fall filled with plenty of great things coming our way and some questionable things coming our way as well. I'm pumped to bring the moisture back into the Fandom Menace.
And I think we just lost Mr. Moist.
Oh, can you hear me?
No, not Mr. Moist. I think, no, Mr. Shawhan. We lost Mr. Shawhan.
We did. Well, I will do Mr. Shawhan's introduction. Mr. Shawhan is the super fan, Adam Shawhan, the man with a lot of wiener dogs and a massive fan of the Fandom Menace and world-class bullshitters, who, Jeff, you got to meet up with in person recently.
Yes, I did. Got to hang out. Oh, he's back. There we go. Sorry, Mr. Shawhan. Introduce yourself.
And from World Class Bullshitters, the super fan Adam Shawhan, Mr. Moy, Iron Wolf. I am here with the Wiener Dog Clan as always, and just honored to be here and able to participate with you fine gentlemen.
Thank you. All right. Well, since the last time we talked, and I think it was when Game of Thrones when we had that final Game of Thrones stream where we were just utterly flabbergasted at that ended like that. But a lot of things have gone down. So I will open the floor to either one of you and lead off with some pop culture stuff that you want to talk about, because a bunch has happened recently. There
has been a lot, and I will talk to you about something I've talked with Mr. Shawhan on the phone with. And that is, I am a diehard Walking Dead fan. The Walking Dead show will be returning for a 9th or 10th season. I haven't watched the show in about 2 seasons, but one thing that I think, we see a lot of this PC SJW. There's plenty of examples that we can go into of what's happened over the summer. But one of the things that I think stands out against that is the end of the Walking Dead comic series. The Walking Dead comics ended at issue 193 earlier this summer. And if you read the last 3 pages, it's not a comic. It's handwritten by Robert Kirkman. And one thing that I appreciate is that he ended it the way that he wanted. He said he wanted to end it the way he did without any outside influence. There are a lot of SJW type themes within the Walking Dead comics. They're not shoved in your face. They actually fit within the story. There's a lot of examples of just, different ethnicities, sexualities or whatever, but they're not seen as a big deal because the big deal in the comics is survival and survival of the human race. That is the real issue and what you're dealing with, and rebuilding a society that had just dealt with a catastrophic apocalyptic event. And I appreciate the fact that Kirkman ended it. And he also cited Game of Thrones, saying he wanted to end it how he did. Just he felt the story was complete. And he did not want anybody else coming in and influencing him to end it in a different way or drag it on. So I think they're in the pop culture, era that we're in, where everything is politically influenced or socially influenced. My neighbors are being very loud right now. But I greatly appreciate this Robert Kirkman. I mean, he had been working on this since 2004, and he ends it. This is the last thing he writes in The Walking Dead. No spoilers or anything, but just his own personal assessment. He says, "Oh shit, I can't believe that this is the end. Thanks for the ride, everybody. Robert Kirkman. P.S. Negan lives." And so that is what he said. He wanted no outside influences. He didn't want any producers or even the showrunners from the show telling him how he should end it. I love that he took the initiative and said that. And I think him writing that down in the last comic says a lot of how he took this story and he doesn't want it to be a portrayal of 2019 politics. He wants it to be a portrayal of the world of The Walking Dead. And I think that's something that I would love to see a lot of our current producers. You know, Kevin Feige apparently is going to work on a Star Wars movie. I'd love to see stuff like that. I'd love to see him take up that kind of a persona.
Yeah, well, the problem
going
is
forward,
he would bring Larson with him.
Exactly. But the thing is, even if he brings Brie Larson in, as long as you even if you do throw a couple, you know, PC or whatever things in, as long as it makes sense to the story, it's not forced in your face. It just flows in. It's like, oh, hey, well, I see that, but oh, it didn't really detract. Cool. But what the thing is, it's just going to be forced in your face the whole time. And that's going to detract from the entire story. And people are just like, oh, shit, here we go again.
Well, speaking on that, hey, Adam, you still there, buddy? Yeah, I think he muted. I think he's busy for a moment. All right, but there has been some pushback, and especially in the world of comedy lately. Have you been caught up on what comedians are starting to say lately?
Yeah, I recently watched Bill Burr's special on Netflix.
Bill Burr,
Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle, and even guy with the puppets, you know, Jeff Dunham.
Yeah, Jeff Dunham. Yeah.
Oh, did you see his latest? Oh my God! Now he rips on Trump, but he makes it hilarious. He rips on everything. He even rips on the whole thing of people trying to make you say what they want you to say and all this other stuff. He just, the whole time I was laughing, even when he's ripping on Trump, I'm just sitting here laughing my ass off.
No, I think honestly, this wave of comedian backlash, like making fun of everything, it's one of the Bill Burr making fun of male feminists was one of the best things I may have ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're a feminist, but you don't have the same parts. You don't understand their struggle. How are you a male feminist? Like, and he just makes so much fun of this. And he does this over in London.
Yeah.
And that's where he filmed it. And he kept saying the whole time, he's like, I'm never going to do a live show for Netflix again. I guarantee it. Like, he just knew it. He's like, I know what I'm saying. But the best part is people want to go make fun of him, or like not make fun of him, but get mad at him. Oh, well, he understands a lot about the issues that minorities face. He's married to an African-American woman.
Yeah.
He has a child that's half white, half black.
Like
so
me.
He understands a lot of these social issues, but he just likes to push them. He likes to have fun with them.
Well, the thing is, I think Netflix is going to let him do another one because look, Chappelle, Dunham,
Chappelle was incredible. His abortion rant was incredible.
Oh my God.
He's like, you don't want to have a child? Well, I should have the right to not have to pay child support.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my! Like when I'm like literally sitting in my living room, being like, holy crap! Did he just say that?
Well, that's just like, you know, the whole thing about saying about a certain bundle of sticks, and it's like, well, you're not gay. And it's like, well, I'm not an N-word either. And I'm like, oh snap!
Yeah, I mean, I love that they're, and the thing is, people get pissed at it, but then they're just like, we're comedians.
Well, and then going to
then the blue check
Tomatoes. Yeah, going to Rotten Tomatoes, the critics give him like a 36%. I think last time I checked the fan reaction, this is like 98, 99% out of like 40,000 people. It's like the people have spoken.
Yeah, and like it's, I mean, one thing that's one. I Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, this is just showing it. It's showing the Hollywood bias like perfectly right now. When you have all these like comedian specials or whatever, and how that's like 99%, 98, 95%. The audience score is incredible, but then you have the critic score. Oh, well, they didn't do this. It's like, okay, they're doing something right if pretty much everybody is enjoying this thing.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think it's a bigger sign of the times to throw a little bit of politics, but not much. Just bear with me, Mr. Moist. You're seeing this across the spectrum, whether it's pop culture, news, politics. The American people are just getting sick and tired of PC culture.
Yeah.
And cancel culture and outrage. It's just like, we're tired of this. You guys have been running your pie holes for, 5+ years. We're sick and tired of this.
And the thing is, what is the one thing that brings people together?
Comedy.
Laughing.
Yeah.
And honestly, people don't know how to laugh at themselves anymore.
Oh yeah.
Like Bill Burr, he made jabs. He made fun of he had a hilarious bit where he made fun of Trump and Obama in the same joke, where he said about how he's like, when you look at Obama, he's like talking about first ladies. Like, first lady's not a job. He's like, you look at Michelle whenever she went into the White House with Obama. He's like, she came out looking 10 years younger. He's like, Obama, he went in looking like 40. He came out looking like he's 70.
Yeah.
He's like, Trump goes in looking like Trump. Melania looks like she's standing back there like a freaking opossum waiting to jump on him. Like, he's making fun of both. And the thing is, like, both sides, especially the far left and the far right, need to realize, like, we can make fun of ourselves. Like, there's a lot of funny things, and I'm sure. But the thing is, as soon as, particularly on the left, like I said, I don't want to bring too much politics in, but like the blue checkmark brigade. Once you get the blue checkmark brigade, well, that's I'm offended for that person who might be offended, when in actuality they're not offended. It's like, would you just shut up? Like, it's a joke. Have fun with it.
Well, I've seen a couple of things, and a couple of times I had the blue checkmark brigade go, "Oh, I'm offended for a person of color." I put my picture up like I'm a person of color, and I thought it was hilarious. You don't speak for me. Shut up.
Exactly. That is one of the most that is one of the worst things. Is whenever and the thing is, it's a problem. I'm going to go out and say right now, it's a white problem. White people should not, as a white man, do not assert yourself into the problems of other ethnicities and races. Well, we cannot understand exactly the issues that are facing others. So do not pretend on Twitter that you understand exactly. And just by you saying, "Oh, I'm offended," blah, blah, blah. No, you don't. You can say that, but it doesn't mean you actually understand it. You're just trying to get freaking Twitter likes and follows is all you get.
Yep. Mr.
We go
Adam.
back to the Mel Brooks era where we just go back to offending everybody.
Absolutely. The thing is, a lot of people, whether left, right, center, Phantom Menace, not Phantom Menace, have even said Blazing Saddles could not be made today.
Oh, you want to talk about another one? Tropic Thunder. I'm just a dude disguised as another dude playing another dude. Like Robert Downey Jr.'s role in Tropic Thunder
is a white guy trying to pretend to be a black guy.
But the thing is, like the funny thing is, though, I read there was a Washington Post article that was out, I think last year, and they were talking about it. And they're like, "Oh, but in this case, it works." I'm like, "Okay, so now you're anti everything, but now you're like, okay." But then they finally look at the context of the movie that's supposed to be making fun of role playing actors, and they're like, "Oh, wow!" But then I'm like, "Okay, all right." But every other thing in that movie offends you, but that.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, okay.
Adam, your take?
I just got to say, I miss it, the older days when we had Married with Children and it was a good show. These things couldn't be made today. Mel Brooks movies couldn't be made today. There's so much good comedy in this anti-joke society that we live in, that everybody's panties are in a big old bunch. And I think they need to change and go into Depends because, that just seems to be the sad state that we're in today. And as an older guy, as you and I are, Jeff, it's just ridiculous to see, my friend. I got both of you beat in the age bracket, but still, it's just pathetic. We can't go to the movies and enjoy the movies. We are constantly, told that we're racist or bigots or Nazis. And just because we don't like a certain movie or the way that they're putting their political issues and SJW-ness into them. Well, I just want to go to a movie and have a good time.
Adam, let me give you a perfect example. The newest Rambo movie that SJW is going absolutely ballistic over. I'm like, oh, it's just a Reagan/Trump power fantasy, and it's so racist against Mexicans and roar. And I'm like, first off, it's fucking Rambo. It's gotta be hyper violent. Second, Mexican cartels are very much like that, whether you like it or not. That's just the fact of the matter. That's not being racist. It's just a fact.
Oh, we haven't even got into the Joker thing yet.
Oh God.
But that's what I mean, though. It's entertainment used to be entertaining, and now it is just somebody's triggered about something. For the love of God, Jeff, if I were to post up the picture of you and I together, somebody would be outraged for some unknown, ridiculous reason,
Yeah.
and it's no different than the picture I have with me and Hicks. Somebody'd be like, "Oh, that awful white guy. He owns that guy." No, I don't own shit. But no matter what it is, it's just a simple picture. Two guys, hang out, have a good same picture that I've got with you, Jeff. Hell, it was great to see you. We've all talked. It was great to be able to meet up and actually, spend a little bit of quality time together and hang out with the bullshitters. But still, it was a blast. And the fact that, you're less than 3 hours than me, we could always meet up and hang out at any point in time. But there's always going to be somebody that's going to have a negative thing to say that is absolute batshit crazy in the society that we live in today.
But
you want to talk about? I mean, you look at my Facebook and it's a trigger warning heaven, because I do Civil War reenacting and I do both Union and Confederate. Does that mean that when I portray a Confederate soldier, does that mean that personally in my life I believe that slavery was right and all that? Hell no. I believe it was awful. It was terribly wrong. It was an egregious crime against humanity. Well, but I am portraying history. I'm trying to show people what lives of the soldiers in both the Federal and Confederate armies were like.
Well, here's the thing a lot of people don't understand. Back during the Civil War, less than 1% of the American population owned slaves. Most of the soldiers were too poor to own a slave.
They were all farmers.
They didn't care.
And they got sucked into a civil war because all these rich politicians assholes in Washington, and then they ended up killing each other.
Yeah, the running thing I remember from Ken Burns' Civil War was rich man's war, poor man's fight. And
that's exactly right. And 660,000 of them people felt it and died on the battlefield and in camp because of it.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like you watch like the movie Gettysburg that has just a laundry list of A-list actors, and there's this great scene where C. Thomas Howell is talking to Confederate soldiers, and he's asking, "Why are you fighting?" It's like, "I'm fighting for my rights." And C. Thomas goes, "What? Like my rights?" They were fighting to tell the federal government, 500-600, maybe 1,000 miles away, to stop trying to run their lives. They don't even know the circumstances these people are living in.
Yeah, and the thing is, they also, even if they knew that, they was like, "Oh yeah, the rich man wants his slaves or whatever," they're just like, well, for them, it's like, especially in their Virginia, they're like, "Oh, my home is just being invaded by a foreign army."
Yeah,
like John. I'll just go on a history tangent here really quick. John Singleton Mosby. John Mosby, he was a Confederate cavalry commander, one of the better ones in the war, and he basically ran a guerrilla warfare throughout the Shenandoah Valley in Northern Virginia here, near where I live right now. But you don't hear many people wanting to take down monuments or rename things after him, because he was anti-slavery. I mean, he was an ardently against slavery. He's hated it. But he stayed with Virginia, and he didn't. Whenever the first 7 states seceded, minus Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, before they seceded, after Fort Sumter, Lincoln called for 75,000 troops to raise an army, because he knew he was going to probably have to fight for this now. And when that happened, Virginia originally had voted prior to Fort Sumter to stay in the Union. They didn't want to secede. After those 75,000 troops were called for, Virginia seceded from the Union, overwhelmingly, minus West Virginia. That's why we have West Virginia now. West Virginia wanted to stay with the Union, despite the 75,000 troops. And John Mosby I mean, you read some of his biographies and autobiography. I mean, he'll talk about how heartbreaking it was for him. He's like, "I don't want to fight against the North, the Union, the United States. I don't want to fight against them, but I can't fight against Virginia." And it's like
that was the same thing for Robert E. Lee.
Yeah, that's the same for Lee. It's the same for a lot of these soldiers, unfortunately. And it's really I always call the Civil War the American tragedy with a good end. the American tragedy that it took a war that cost over 500,000 lives, and where I say it's like a positive, it's the American tragedy with a positive. 4 million slaves got their freedom. So it's the it's sad that it took that to do that, but if we could have just hashed it out in Washington and been civil about it, not leading to a war, my God. But I don't think that we're in a society. I mean, one thing, you look on Facebook, you'd swear we're on the verge of a civil war now with how everything is. And pop culture being one of the, like kind of like battle lines. Yeah, it's one of the battle lines of it. I don't think we're near that point.
No, but the thing is, it's a very loud minority screaming and shouting, and the rest of us going, "You're fucking crazy."
And we can take a comparison back to the Civil War. Even when you look at it's the politicians who are concerned about their assets, their money, they're making the big fuss about it. When the majority of them just like, hey, let me work on my farm.
Yeah, or work in a factory if you're in the north.
Exactly, and it's like okay, we might have views one way or the other, but still, we don't want to get into a fight over this. And then, boom, those people that have the loudest Twitter accounts and all that stuff, boom, there it goes.
Well, that's just like the Joker. I mean, the first review is like, "Oh my God, this is so great," and then more and more SGW thoughts like, "Oh my God, it's so white supremacy, rah!" And it's like, it's the freaking Joker. What the hell are you talking about?
Honestly, from the trailers, from what I'm depicting from the Joker, here's like what I'm seeing from it. It should be a message against bullying, honestly, because when you look at the Joker, I don't know necessarily. I don't know the comics, the DC comics as well, or whatever is Marvel. I know some of the more recent, like the Injustice comics. I really enjoy the Injustice comic, not the games, but the comics. I enjoy those. It's like from what I'm seeing from the trailers, should be a lesson against bullying because hell, they're making fun of this guy, who becomes a Joker, and then he just finally just gives up and he's like, everything's a joke, and it's like, I am now, he kills somebody. Oh, it's a joke because everybody else in his life was making fun of him. And he's like, now it's my turn to make fun of you, and it's a joke.
Yeah, well, it's, you push a man to a breaking point, something's going to happen. It's usually not a great thing. And some people either, bow out in suicide, or some people snap and go nuts, like the Joker.
Yeah. I mean, that
blaming the movie's a whole nother thing. And that's what it seems they're trying to do. With the incident we had with the Dark Knight, you can't stop bad people from doing bad shit. And it doesn't matter. They could have went and saw a My Little Pony freaking movie and done the same thing. It's just never ending. And because the movie's the Joker, they're in uproar. We didn't have the uproar for any of the other, Justice League movie, for example, or any of the other DC or Marvel things. But no, because we have just the straight up Joker movie. And if you base everything off, like Moise said, just off the trailers, you don't get I don't see where they're coming from. Exactly. You see a guy who's got a hard life, looks like he's taking care of his mom. She dies. He's working a shitty job, spinning a sign, and they're just constantly, saying, oh, this is going to cause people to go out and do things, just like how they blame music and video games. And it's just another thing for them to point their finger at and go, oh, this is going to happen. And then if nothing happens, they'll find something else to pick on and do the same thing.
And what you just highlighted is the same in politics, pop culture. I mean, you look the spectrum, they're always moving that goalpost. But to get off this, another movie I want to talk about, which was actually pretty damn good, and it's kind of just going under the radar, is Ad Astra. Have you guys seen that yet?
I have not seen it, but I would like to go see it.
No, I have not.
Let me put it to you this way. It is definitely in the vein of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Way in that vein. The cinematography is unreal.
Well, see, that's one thing when I saw with the trailers and stuff. And for me, I love a good space movie. I love space movies.
The entire moon sequence was phenomenal. I mean, you literally felt like you were driving along the moon. It did have its problems, though. The entire third act is a jumbled mess. I will give it that. It was it was a freaking mess.
But overall, you still enjoyed it, though?
It wasn't going for so much enjoyment as making a thought-provoking statement. I mean, I still liked it overall, but it was a lot more intrapersonal, like 2001. Like, it was focused heavily on Brad Pitt.
Nice. Yeah, no, I need to go see that.
And I will say this: when you get to Tommy Lee Jones, it's like there was just no need for this. Tommy Lee Jones in the movie at the end in the third act made no sense. It was like nonsensical and just a waste of time.
Yeah, old Tommy Lee Jones, though. Men in Black. Classic Men in Black.
Yeah, he's a lot more like his persona in Space Cowboys, but way more analytical. So don't expect MIB Tommy Lee Jones, because you're not going to get it.
Well, yeah, he's only in it for what, like 5 minutes? Does he have like a real small role?
You see clips of him throughout the movie, but him on screen.
Isn't he supposed to be like the bad guy or whatever?
It's a shade of gray bad guy. He's not like, oh my god, he's totally evil. I mean, he has somewhat of a logical reason of why he does what he does, but on
like a Heisenberg.
Yeah, kind of.
You know why he's doing it. You're just like, ah, damn. But then it's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But anyways, no, I would definitely recommend you guys go see Ad Astra. Just have the 2001: A Space Odyssey mindset when you go to see it.
Okay.
And like I said, I mean, everybody thought the cinematography in Star Wars: The Last Jedi was amazing. Ad Astra just basically takes a dump all over The Last Jedi. It's like, you don't know what cinematography is if it walked up and slapped you.
Sheesh. Okay. Yeah, that was like my one compliment for that movie is the cinematography.
Ad Astra walks all over it. It's far and away superior.
Yeah. Yeah, that was literally the only positive thing I could probably say about The Last Jedi.
Let's stay away from that landmark.
Yeah.
Oh, but I love The Last Jedi. It was great when I watched it.
Well, this is a revelation. Adam, explain why you love
Spanish. I loved it because I watched it in Spanish and I did not understand anything.
Well,
and when I watched it, when I actually saw it in English, then I did not like it. But when you don't know what's going on, you kind of have to use your imagination on what they're saying. And that is how I enjoyed the movie the first time. I'm sitting there watching it, and so it was visually a very good movie when you don't know what the hell's being said. I didn't have a clue, and then when I actually watched it,
you're like, oh,
again, and it was in English. Yeah, no, completely different movie than what I had in my mind.
All right. Well, anyways, since we're on Star Wars, well, actually, before we dive into Star Wars, MCU, the whole Spider-Man controversy. What's your guys' hot takes on that?
I know. So what? Spider-Man is coming back to the MCU, right?
Well, here's the short and skinny. A couple of months ago, Sony and Disney could not come to an agreement on Spider-Man, so they parted ways.
Everybody take him away from the MCU.
Yeah, and everybody put their panties in a twist, and then what was it, about a week ago, they finally reached the deal. And it's just like, and everybody's cheering, and I'm just going, you really? And I'm kind of like in the camp of Jeremy Griggs from Geeks and Gamers of, you guys really thought they weren't going to come to an agreement? I mean, Sony literally got the deal of a lifetime. Not only did they get to keep making movies in the MCU, they can still use the property of Spider-Man to go fight Venom. And Tom Holland crossing realities and stuff. I mean,
yeah,
like Sony got the best of all worlds. It was unreal.
Yeah, no, I say honestly with like my honest take with the superhero movies, like Spider-Man, all that. after Endgame, I'm done. Like, I'm just done. Like, I'm not like I will not go see another Marvel movie. I'm just done with them, honestly.
I kind of want to. I'm definitely waiting on Wonder Woman 84, and
DC movies I'll go see.
because they're
movies I'm just over with. Like, Endgame happened, and for me, those are the superheroes I care about. I care about Iron Man. I care about Captain America. I care about
Thor.
Not Fat Thor, but Thor. The original Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm glad. I may the only movie I might go see would be Guardians of the Galaxy. That would be it.
Yep.
But I really have no desire to see anything else. It's been all wrapped up for me.
Like
I feel like Endgame gave me a good ending. I liked it. For me, as a non-big time I'm not a big superhero movie fan. But for me, as the casual superhero fan, I enjoy it. For me, that was an ending. And those last 30 minutes was an emotional freaking roller coaster. Holy crap. And I'm not even like the biggest diehard superhero fan or MCU fan. And also a fun fact, I am friends on Facebook with the body double of Chris Evans as the old guy. Because the old man Chris Evans is Patrick Gorman. That's his body. And then the face is Chris Evans with makeup and all that stuff on him.
Yeah.
But the body is Patrick Gorman, who played John Bell Hood in the movie Gettysburg, who I have met before. And I am friends with him on Facebook. So I am friends on Facebook with an actor in Endgame.
Nice.
So, yeah. There's my ties to Endgame.
But yeah, I mean, you wrapped it up perfect for me. I haven't even seen the new Spider-Man movie.
That's the one movie I would like to see. And just because pretty much one of my good friends, he said basically it's a tribute to Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, but I'm like, okay, I'm interested now because, I really love, and I think I love Spider-Man too. Like, I mean, yeah. But Tom Holland Spider-Man, I do enjoy some of the comedy of Tom Holland Spider-Man, but will not compare to Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Well, the problem is a lot of people have made this point. Spider-Man is Iron Boy at this point.
Yeah, essentially that's what he is. Yeah, I mean I appreciated that kind of take on Spider-Man. Being like Iron Man's like understudy. I appreciated that. And one thing I think with Infinity War, whenever you have Spider-Man saying, I don't want to go, like it really is like, oh, damn, it really that moment sold me on like the new Spider-Man.
Yep.
But if I had to compare Tom Holland Spider-Man or Tobey Maguire, I'm still going to take Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 1, 2, and we're going to pretend 3 didn't really exist, but it.
But I would still love to see an Into the Spider-Verse style movie with Tobey Maguire,
that would be
Andrew
awesome.
Garfield, and Tom Holland all playing Spider-Man.
I liked Into the Spideyverse. That was like a fun movie to watch.
That was a very fun movie.
Yeah, like honestly, it's like, how do you describe that movie? It's fun. Like, that is fun.
I mean, whoever had the inspirational genius to have Nick Cage to voice Spider-Man Noir, that was top billing right there. That was inspired.
Yeah, and it's like that was fun. And the thing is, you look at the Blue Checkmark Brigade Twitter, they're all just like, oh my gosh, we have an African-American Spider-Man. It's like, yeah, but okay, like we get it. Cool, there's an African-American Spider-Man, but this is a damn good movie.
And the thing is, it's like that Spider-Man has been in comics for ages. And
nothing new.
And then they come out with this movie, and everybody's like, dude, he's actually pretty revolutionary.
Cool. But oh wait, Stanley's a racist, so
yeah.
Even after he's published plenty of editorials of, what needs to happen, and
well, that's just like Nick Fury in the comics was white for the longest time, and Stan Lee put it later. It was the 1960s. No one would have bought a black man in charge of a super secret above the CIA spy organization, which is what S.H.I.E.L.D. was. No one would have bought it back then.
Unfortunately, you're right. I mean, that was just the name of the game at that point. Unfortunately.
But like, having Nick Fury be pretty much Samuel L. Jackson, that was pretty much Stan Lee's intention from the get-go.
And Samuel L. Jackson and Nick Fury, that's a badass move.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson in a position of power in any movie, whether it's Mace Windu or it's Nick Fury, yeah, that's it.
Or the team leader on SWAT.
Yeah. I mean, oh my. I am sorry if I just have some extra comments here, but I'm a Vikings fan, and the Bears are just destroying my Vikings right now.
Ouch. Yeah, I don't even want to look at the 49ers. Right now they're 3-0, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
Actually doing pretty good this year. But Mr. Shawhan, any other thoughts you got going on?
No, I'm good.
I guess
I haven't seen a lot of the movies. I kind of was done with Infinity War. I still haven't seen Endgame. I just have a problem with Disney. I'm not going to give them my money. Maybe Redbox. I'll give them $1. That's pretty much about it. I have a room full of Star Wars stuff. I have bought lots of stuff, but as soon as Disney basically told us that we're scum and fat wine babies living in our mom's basement and they hate us, I refuse to spend any of my hard-earned money making them richer. So I stopped. I was an oddball, wasn't really a big fan of Infinity War. I think they could have done a lot more with a little less. But that's just my opinion. Overall, it was an all right movie to watch, but I'm not going to watch it again. And then, as for the whole Spider-Man thing, all we can do is really hope, because we already saw what road Disney has taken Marvel, going into their phase 4. And if they continue doing that, there's no guarantees they won't turn around and still make Spider-Man, the butt joke of Brie Larson. So, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. It's good to hear that somebody stuck it to Disney, but did they really? I guess time will tell, and we shall see. But it's great that they're back together, so they can do stuff. But then again, what stuff are they going to do? Are they going to do what the fans want, or are they going to keep pushing their soy agenda that they've been pushing?
Yep. Well, you said the whole you're not giving any money to Disney. I have to give them one more try, and I'm going to at least buy 1 month of the new Disney streaming service, because I have to see The Mandalorian. I have to see what they do with it, because I am a major Mandalorian fan. Like, if I didn't have this wolf symbol, you'd be seeing a Mandalorian symbol. And,
so that's how I.
And I was actually
I'm going to give them a shot with The Mandalorian. And because of what's Pablo, I can't remember what's his name.
Pablo Hidalgo?
Yeah. Well, because of his Game of Thrones performance, I think he is a great actor. And so I will 100% support something that he's in.
Oh, no,
I'm anxious to see it. I saw there's a leaked not a leaked trailer, but a leaked poster or whatever. Or maybe it's the initial poster. I just was late to the game. IG-88 is supposed to be in this.
Oh, yeah. He's shown in the last trailer.
Yeah, so it's like, let's go. I am pumped for that.
And they even have that one chick who was in Fast 6 as, like, Hobbs' side agent until she flips on him.
Mm-hmm.
She's in it, and she actually looks good. And the one thing that I also love, besides, like, IG-88, guess what there also are in this show? Aliens!
Yeah. It's not like I think it's going to be a good. I think this is the kind of Star Wars that we expected with Disney.
Exactly, and I was having a talk with Sith Kryptonian, and he's talking about the Kenobi show is going to be the big thing that brings it back. It's like no. If Disney screws up The Mandalorian, we won't even get to Kenobi. This is the make or break. I mean, 9 could flop. But if Mandalorian is excellent or amazing and, just grabs our attention, we won't care about episode 9. We'll stick with the Mandalorian, and they'll keep us roped in. So
yeah, and I would much rather. I'm so much more interested in this Mandalorian show than I am episode 9.
Oh, absolutely.
And the leaks that have been out for a while now, I honestly think they're real. I really do think that they are real.
Oh, I think that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau basically, want to tell a good story. Screw politics, screw everything else. They want to give us a Star Wars story.
Yeah. No, that's what, my hope with Star Wars lies in The Mandalorian, not with Rise of Skywalker. Let's just say that.
Yeah. I mean,
I think the Rise of Skywalker, what's going to happen with it, it's going to rely so much on nostalgia, even more so than Episode 7, of which George Lucas has come out publicly and said, and Bob Iger said it in his autobiography or whatever, that he was disappointed. It didn't offer anything new. And if
actually, from what I understand,
everything from Episode 4.
Yeah, well, from what I understand, Lucas actually hated it.
Yeah, he was being like civil saying that, like he was disappointed.
Yeah, but no, he straight out hated 7 because basically George Lucas wrote outlines and treatises for 7, 8, and 9. Iger shit-canned them, brought in JJ, who all he does is repackage, throw in a little bit of mystery box, and slaps it on the screen. I mean, he proved that.
And the thing is, too, like even if George Lucas's outlines were crappy, at least it would have been George Lucas's. This is his universe he created. It's like, it's like going at George R. R. Martin saying, "Oh my God, you couldn't have created Dorne to be a little better." It's like, well, your thoughts are great, but I'm the one that made this. Like, I thought of it at first.
Yep.
It's like George gave us 3 incredible movies, and I am a child of the prequel series, of the prequel trilogy. So I mean, I will rank Episode 2 as the lowest, and then Episode 1. But Episode 3 for me is tied with Empire Strikes Back as my favorite movie. Because as a child, when I watched that movie, seeing Anakin become Vader, for me as a kid, I'm like 12 or 13 at this point. I'm like, holy crap. I mean, I'm like in this theaters, like going nuts. I'm like, oh, he just became Vader. Like, he just killed Windu. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm going nuts. And when Obi-Wan fought Anakin, when I was a small kid, and when I was, 6, 7, or 8, I was watching the original Star Wars. I'm like, oh, the bad guy, Darth Vader. And then, then my uncle and my grandma, who also like Star Wars, was like, well, Vader was apparently a good guy before, and then he turned bad. And so I'm just like watching this as a small kid. I'm like, oh, so I have the original trilogy that I grew up on, watching them, retrograde, watching them. But then the new movies come out. So I'm like, oh, all right, I'm going to find out, how did Vader become Vader? And so I grew up on them. So I don't have any hate for the prequels, but what I will say is those things, thank God they added to the lore and they actually fit in with the story of the saga.
Oh, absolutely.
But here it's like there's a lot of potential. I mean, if we could, what my big thing is, and what I hate, Mara Jade is not mentioned whatsoever.
Oh God.
I mean, I'm not even a big EU person, but if they would have had a thing in the sequels here with Luke and Mara Jade, I think that would have been great.
Moist, Mr. Shawhan, changed my mind. The Thrawn trilogy written by Timothy Zahn would have been as better 7, 8, and 9, even if they had to recast Luke and Leia.
Yeah.
Changed my mind.
Thrawn, yeah. Yeah, no. Really no argument there. Thrawn.
Yeah, even if they had to
as soon as the Force
Han, Luke, and Leia with younger characters just to do the Thrawn trilogy, it still would have been a better movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if it would have been, yeah. There's really honestly, no argument there.
Well, that was my issue with The Force Awakens in the first place, was it had nothing to do with Lucas. And then we watched it, and it's like, okay, don't care. We had high expectations with Disney when they took it over. It was like, okay, this could be good. and we saw what we got.
Yeah, no, that's when 2015. I was pumped because when 2015, when that happened, as soon as I heard about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, hey, we might see another Star Wars movie. Well, let me tell you the story of like just how hyped my friends are, who like, and the thing is, like, we're all at this point, when did 2015? So we're all in college now. It's our junior year, and we were all diehard Star Wars fans. So we bought our tickets for Force Awakens months early, as soon as they went on sale, for our local theater back in a small town in central Pennsylvania. This theater, I mean, it's the only theater within like 20 miles. So we filled up an entire row. And what we did was on Wednesday, we were home because it was during Christmas break. So on Wednesday, we watched episodes 1, 2, 3 in order. On Thursday, the night that the movie was going to come out, we watched 4, 5, and 6. And we timed it perfectly. So we'd have 15 minutes in between each movie so we could have a bathroom break, grab some food if we needed to because there's a bunch of restaurants nearby. And I'll be back in time to watch episodes 5 and 6. Episode 6 ended an hour before episode 7 started in the movie theater. And we already had our prepaid tickets, so we didn't have to wait in line or anything. We just show our tickets, they scan them, and we're in. So as soon as episode 6 ended, we sprinted, got to our cars, carpooled over to the theater. We got in there. We all were like, we all enjoyed it. We all just loved it. Just because as soon as Star Wars came on that screen, we're all just like, oh man, like at this point, we're just 22-year-old kids, but we grew up on this. We're like, this is the first movie that we're going to see something new. And for the first couple days, we were all just like, oh my gosh, like that was crazy. That was nuts. And then one person in the group chat was like, that was kind of like episode 4, wasn't it? And we're like, everyone's just like, yeah, it was. And that's how it went from there.
Well, here's my story. I was on the road, and my truck had actually broken down, and I was in Amarillo, Texas with my wife. And I told her, hey, the new Star Wars movie's out. And she's like, let's go check it out. She actually liked the movie more than I did. I was like, it was a meh setup. This definitely was almost a beat-by-beat ripoff of A New Hope. But it got the ball rolling. And it got us a new hero, even though I was already kind of feeling the Mary Sue vibe from day one. But I was like, they can explain this. They can show us why.
Yeah.
And
I mean, The Force Awakens, though it being a copy of Episode 4, it left a lot of opportunity for the sequel series to be something good.
Yeah.
And never capitalized on.
Yeah, JJ, I mean, yeah, he basically took episode 4, made it bigger, made it more vibrant, threw into mystery box, and then threw the layup for episode 8. And JJ basically grabbed the ball, popped it, and threw it out into the stand somewhere and gave us 8.
And the thing is, my biggest thing is, why the hell would Disney, who has put out fantastic entertainment before, why would they, with a trilogy, have the first movie made by JJ, and hey, we're not going to have the second movie made by him, which is going to lead into the third movie? Why did you not, if you're going to make a trilogy series and they knew it, why would you not make sure that you had the same writer-director for all 3 movies?
Moist. The original trilogy had a director every single movie.
It did. But
we had one creative vision. See, that's the problem with the sequel trilogy. There has been no unifying creative vision. There's been no Kevin Feige and Lucasfilm up till now. Because even though there was 23 movies from Iron Man to Endgame, he was the guiding, directing force pointing towards one end. He kept it all marching towards one direction. There was none of that in the sequel trilogy, and it shows.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it is. There was so much potential that you could have done with this sequel trilogy. despite the fact that we had all the actors are getting up there in age right now, and obviously we lost Carrie Fisher, unfortunately.
Yep.
But there was a lot of potential there.
Yeah, but the
that
thing
was
is,
just missed on. And even using the actors that they have used, like with Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, all of them. Like, I'm not faulting them as actors or whatever. There was a lot of potential.
Hey, Moise, not to interrupt you guys.
That.
I gotta go. No, you're fine. So it's been great. Sorry, I can't stick around. I got something going on. I'll message you later. Thanks for having me on, guys.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Then it was 2.
Yeah.
But like you said, there was unbelievable potential, even though
the thing is,
it was a beat by beat ripoff. They had
exactly, and what I loved, they did stick with the Star Wars tradition. They used actors and actresses that didn't have a big name.
Yep.
Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, they don't have a big name. I appreciate that. And I appreciate them, trying. I appreciate their acting efforts. It's just like we can go back to Game of Thrones season 8 here. The acting, I think, in season 8 was some of the best in the entire series. The script and the story, some of the worst in the series.
Well, that's kind of like the inverse of the prequel trilogy.
Yeah,
not to harp on them, but
absolutely.
The direction and the story was good. The acting was
bad,
terrible.
Yeah, no, and the thing that's like Hayden Christensen. People are saying, "Oh, Hayden Christensen's so bad." I don't. It's like I feel like Hayden Christensen was being like told what to do way too much, and so he was just like being so conservative with everything that he said or did, and he kept that same kind of face the entire series.
Yeah, but you know what the funniest thing is? You ever seen the movie Takers? It has him. What's his name from Fast and the Furious? Blondie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see him in Takers, and
he's great.
You remember that scene where he's just sitting there playing the piano, smoking that cigarette, natural and as effortless as could be. And I'm like, where was this level of acting in like episode 2?
Exactly. Episode 2 is the worst. Episode 3, he got a lot better. But episode 2,
and the thing is, though, the whole sand part, I was talking with a buddy of mine named Jason, and he's like, well, think about it from a 19-year-old awkward kid who really has no social interaction. He's head over heels for a woman and have him talk about sand. And I'm like, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
He's a whiny 19-year-old kid.
Natalie Portman is like 28 at that point. Like,
yeah. And the thing is, though, Natalie Portman, she was definitely on her A game in Phantom Menace. She brought her like B game to like Attack of the Clones. In Revenge of the Sith, it was like she just didn't care, except at the end when
she did, yeah.
Well, like when Annie, you're breaking my heart. That's like about the best acting she did the entire movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, yeah. But one thing I can look forward to, and I know you have, you said off air that you haven't watched it, but one thing I'm looking forward to in pop culture here, coming up here, I think October 11th, I believe it is, and that is the release of El Camino, the Breaking Bad movie follow-up to the series, directed and written by Vince Gilligan, who wrote the entire series, and based off the trailers, and I know you haven't watched Breaking Bad, but I think you'll appreciate this, though. Based off the trailers, these trailers look exactly like the trailers for Breaking Bad seasons.
Yeah,
with same cinematography, same everything.
Which is a good thing when you're following in the groove.
Yeah, and I think what we had said earlier before we went on the Star Wars, we talked about Star Wars here. We were talking about Chappelle and Bill Burr and all them, being themselves or whatever. They're like, no, they're not changing. Vince Gilligan hasn't changed, and Breaking Bad ended in 2013. It's 2019.
Yep.
When I see these trailers for El Camino, it looks exactly like I'm watching a Breaking Bad trailer. And he even came out on Twitter and said, hey, if you haven't seen Breaking Bad, don't watch El Camino. And that's a lot coming from a person who wrote and directed the movie. He's telling people literally, don't watch it if you haven't seen Breaking Bad. But also great marketing.
Yeah, but I also like the fact of it's one of those things of if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. And the thing is Breaking Bad tied up almost every single storyline except for one. And this movie ties up that one storyline that wasn't tied up. It does not mess with the other storylines tied up. And that's what Vince Gilligan has said. That he's like, no, he's like, this character, this will tie his story up. And it's the one that we left open. And he said, I mean, he's like, if this was a very popular series, like if it kept going, people beyond when it was, when it was put on Netflix after it was done on AMC, and people were still in it or into it, we're going to finish this storyline. And people were obviously still into it. And so he got the idea. He's like, all right, let's finish the storyline. And he knew how he wanted to end it a couple years ago, but he waited to finish it.
Oh, speaking off of that, have you heard the news that Battlestar Galactica is coming back to the screen?
It is coming back. Okay.
Yeah, but people were saying it's going to be a remake of a remake, and they've actually come out like, no, we're not going to mess with the perfection that was Ronald D's Moore. No, we're just going to make a new series in that universe and have some fun with it. And I'm like, maybe we could see the first Cylon War. Kind of like Blood and Chrome, which would be awesome.
That's similar to like The Mandalorian. It's like that's kind of the things that we want to see, things like that.
I mean, and we also have Picard coming out here soon, and I'm just like, I'm not even giving CBS my money. I'll just wait for the reviews and see if it's any good. But I mean, there are certain things where they're going back to form, and then there are other ones where they're just trying to break the mold and reinvent the wheel, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, for example, do you know anything about Frank Herbert's Dune series?
I do not know. I do not.
Well, they're doing a new movie in 2020, and I will warn you about this because I've read every single Dune book, period, whether it was written by Frank Herbert or his son later.
This is Dune, right?
Yes.
That is a series that I plan to read here over the winter.
I will tell you this now, and remember what Frank Herbert tried to say about Paul Atreides. It's not him trying to make Paul Atreides a superhero. It's basically the fact of he thinks heroes should come with a warning label, hazardous to your health.
Okay.
Because everybody's screaming, oh, Paul Atreides, we're going to have another white savior. And it's like, you don't know much about the damn universe, do you?
Yeah.
I will spoil one thing for you. In the second book, you'll find out after Paul has won, because he does, of course, his jihad kills somewhere in the neighborhood of like 56 billion people across the universe.
Good Lord. Okay.
He is not a savior.
Thinks he is, but he's not.
No, he even knows he's not.
Okay.
It's just everybody thinks of him as the Messiah, the greatest thing ever. And he's going, guys, I'm really not. And we could really tone down the killing here. And it's that.
Got a lot of issues here.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, all right, we're good. We're good here.
Well, you come to find out that Paul is presentient. He can see the past and he can see the future.
Oh, okay. All right.
And Paul Muad'Dib even says to know the future is to become trapped by it because there's just no way around it. And Paul gives rise to his son, Leto II. And you think Paul is a tyrant?
No, it gets bad.
Wait till you read God Emperor. God Emperor is a big, flashy warning sign of what happened when tyrants get power and they can stay in power for a very long time. It is a gigantic warning sign of do not give tyrants absolute power.
Yeah, I can see that there. Yeah, no, I have definitely that's honestly the next I asked for Christmas. I said, hey, my parents were like, hey, like what would you like? Or I'm like, just gift cards, especially Barnes and Noble, please. Yeah, and so that way or Amazon. That way because what I want to do is get the Dune series.
All right. The books you want is Frank Herbert's Dune.
Yep.
And then it's Dune Messiah, Children of Dune, God Emperor.
Oh no, I saw them all at Barnes and Noble. Like I've looked into like
and then it's Heretics, and then it's Chapter House, and that's the original that Frank Herbert and then his son and I think Kevin J. Anderson wrote more books around it. But I'll warn you about the Butley Harrian Jihad. It is not what was advertised by Frank Herbert. When it's like it wasn't what I thought, but it explains what happens to Earth, why Earth is never mentioned in Dune.
Well, that's good, yeah. But
and it explains why the Harkonnens and the Atreides hate each other's guts.
Yeah.
You know, it explains how House Carina, who's the Padishah Emperor, when you get into the original Dune book, how they came to power. I mean, it explains a lot.
I'd say that's good. Yeah. You know, I'm anxious. That's one book series I'm looking forward to reading.
All right. Well, we've been kind of going for an hour, and I'm kind of spitting my gears on other topics to talk about here.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. So we can wrap her up here.
All right. Well, plug your channel one more time for the audience.
I say, well, hey, I'm the Moist Vision Inc. You can check me out on Moist Vision Inc. Haven't really had a whole lot up recently because I've had a busy summer. I do Civil War reenacting, so I've had a lot of stuff. And some things I did not expect to do and got invited to over the summer. So hoping to ramp up the live streams here. And weekly, we'll be planning doing a live stream with myself, Jeff the Iron Wolf, and the super fan Adam Shawhan, who had to duck out a little early. And who knows, once we get this going, maybe we'll get some special guests in here. We'll find out. We'll wait and see. But make sure you guys tune in. Just give some just how we're feeling about pop culture and what's going on. Obviously, the Joker movie is getting ready to come out, so we'll be seeing that. Probably give some hot takes on that movie coming up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be seeing that movie this coming weekend, I believe it comes out.
I will be moving, so I may not be able to join you this weekend just for the sheer fact of I will just be moved into a new apartment, trying to get all the internet sorted out, all my living arrangements all.
But either way, we'll wait. We can wait to do a stream with all of us here. We'll wait to do that. But no, anyway, I'm the Moist, as I had said earlier, from World Class Bullshitters comment section. The Moist will be returning here a lot more leading up to the rise of Skywalker, the last Star Wars movie, supposedly in the Skywalker saga. So we'll wait to see. But I'd like to thank my buddy here, Jeff the Iron Wolf, for having me on tonight.
Always a pleasure, Mr. Moist. Always a pleasure. And I'm Jeff the Iron Wolf. Your take on politics, pop culture, whatever crosses my fancy. Thanks for hanging out. And for anybody who's watching this later, thanks for coming to check this out. Be sure to share, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And we will catch you next time on The Three Wise Men.